Great. It really is a great honor to be dialing into this meeting, and I think it's fantastic because it gives the opportunity for those of us who are not in Davos to participate in what's happening here. Davos shouldn't be something that is just for those who are here. The impact and the implications concern us all around the world. And it's really been an exciting and very tiring week here at Davos. But just to put that into context of 100 Women at Davos, which is what Dr. Ingrid, thank you for inviting me, has asked me to speak about. But I think the importance of it is not just the network itself, but what it represents and why we're doing it and what is the impact of what it is we're doing. I had the opportunity to attend the World Economic Forum in 2017 for the first time. And my background is in economics. I studied economics at the London School of Economics. And all those decades ago, and I shan't tell you how many years ago, all those decades ago, I heard about the World Economic Forum. And I actually felt quite concerned that this was a forum at the time which was uh, full of business people and top people mainly in the advanced countries who are making decisions that would have repercussions for people around the world, including a country like mine, which is Nigeria in a developing country. And to now fast forward decades and to actually find that I was invited. Now, if you've come from that background where you've heard about it, and then you find yourself extremely privileged to be there, the last thing you expect is to go and be silent, right? Or at least not have an impact. And my first experience of this absolutely amazing forum of world leaders discussing all the issues that concern each and every one of us, issues of impact, was that I felt that I was not very visible. And for a woman that is my height, for those of you who have met me, who comes from Africa, who has braids down to her back, I'm not exactly invisible. But it was a sense in terms of participants that, obviously, if you didn't, to me, if you didn't fit the mold, then you couldn't have anything interesting to say. However, the panels were so interesting and the world leaders that were on those panels, the access was incredible. I had the opportunity, just myself, to walk up to a president, to walk up to a head of state, to walk up to a leader of the biggest economies, or sorry, biggest companies in the world, and introduce myself to them. Usually a him. There were some hers as well, and to be able to strike a conversation and to talk about things that concerned me, and for them to respond. And I thought to myself, I don't want to be the only one doing this. Where are all the other women, in the world, and why are they not here? That of course we totally understand that the percentage of women in leadership is very small, and that is why I work as with 100 Women at Davos, or wider still, the consulting work has to do with advancing gender equality in leadership. But I still felt that representation was key and important, and having more women who are there. Because whatever it is that we do in all the places that we do our things, the reality is that very often we are takers in the sense that whatever has been decided, we are now having to deal with it. And when we look at the things that concern us, when we look at the issues that we feel that we have contributions to make, and those haven't been taken into consideration, then we have to say that maybe the issue is that we are not there, we're not present, and we need to be there, we need to be present. And that's what led me after my second time, I think, at the World Economic Forum, to create this group of women, because I felt that women's impact would be more if I wasn't seeing the women, but they were there, there were few, but we needed to make an impact. We needed our voices to be heard. Otherwise, what are we doing there? Are we just idle watchers of what's happening? And so I thought, let's create a group. And it was an informal group I created. And I reached out to women and they responded. And we started off with being women in WEF. And then other people told us, but there are other women who are actually at Davos who are not actually at the World Economic Forum. And then I discovered this whole world or ecosystem surrounding the World Economic Forum. But I tell you, ladies, what then happened was somebody reached out to me, and this is why it's so important in when we see what others are doing, that we actually offer a hand, even if it's not asked. Somebody reached out to me. This was second year. I didn't ask. And what she said is that we are creating this event. and we'll give you a space. And the space was just really an add-on to what they were doing. So they said, we're having our event. Once we finished, the speaking engagements and the panel, then you have a sort of reception afterwards in the same space. So we're not, you're not paying any more money, right? All you just need to do is bring in your women and, just pay for a little bit of food. So we did that. And so I created, it was a Christmas, and I created this, I think it was a sign-on, I can't remember what it was, Eventbrite or something. And I said, if you're in Davos, women in Davos, please join us. And I sent it out. And then I got a message from the group saying that, oh, um, we tried to register, but, it's not working. And I said, it's sold out. I said, it's not possible. It went live just an hour ago, so it's not possible. I haven't advertised it. It's not possible. They said, yes. So we went back and looked, and it was fully booked within an hour. So I told the host, I said, this is what has happened. In 1 hour, it's fully booked. What do we do? They said, look, not everybody will come. Put in another set. We did that. The same thing happened. We did it the third time. The same thing happened. No exaggeration. Anybody who was there at that day, nobody on the line, but some women who are part of the group, were there on that day. You could say it was a success because there's so many people, but you could say it's a failure because, in terms of organization, because half the women who came were outside. There was no space for the women, no space. In fact, after a while, I moved outside and was with women in the bar area. So many women had turned up for this event. And this was in the Seehof, where you needed a badge. By the way, just to tell you, you needed a badge, and we had an advertiser, you needed a badge. So many women turned up. So it became clear that we needed our space. It's not that there were no other spaces for women, but nothing in the way that we were doing it in terms of a community. And so we then started our events. The first dinner that we had, which was 3 years ago, we had 25 women. We booked 25. It was overbooked, but then the next year became 50, and we were overbooked in 24 hours. So we asked the restaurant, can you add 10 more? They said yes, we were 60. Then we were overbooked. Can we add 10 more? We were 70. And that was the maximum. And people were still coming to join the dinner. This year, we were 100, and we're still overbooked. That tells us that women need to gather. We need to be together with our own. We get value from being together with our own in these spaces that are dominated by men. One lady actually sent me a message because we have a welcome dinner. And the reason why we continue that, because it sets women on the right path. We found the way they feel about things. Most women who are leaders deal in a space where it's, men and women. But we had a dinner. A lady actually sent me a message, and she said, after this dinner, which is uplifting, and she went into spaces, and the kinds of spaces she went into, because she's in the tech world, as you can imagine. So not to say anything too negative, but you can imagine. And it can be so demotivating. So we need something to lift us each time, and for us to remember, and for us to learn from each other, and for us to reflect from each other certain things. And over again, I just came from a speaking engagement. I met one of our ladies there, and a lady stopped me and she goes, this is my first time in Davos, and I'm navigating this place, all due to this group. And what does it mean, navigating the space? For me, it means that you're here with a purpose and you can achieve your purpose, because it's a place where leaders are. One of our ladies, and I'm just about to burst into tears because she told me, and I just listened to it, but it didn't sink in. She just raised half of the money that she was looking for. She has raised $500,000, and she's expecting to raise the other half. And she told me that one of the spaces that 100 Women at Davos got her into, they now are displaying her stuff. Now, this is real. We need to be in places where decision makers gather, not just even for ourselves and our businesses, but also to add our voices to those global decisions that are being made. I took a couple of ladies this morning to a peace event. It was hope, peace, and justice. We had a rabbi We had a leader from the Middle East, a Muslim. We had a leader from an old tribe in America. We had a Christian evangelist, a woman, all talking about peace. It was the most beautiful service, and I'm telling you, I cried. My eyes were just, were just dripping. And I thought to myself, wouldn't this be excellent on the world stage? This lady who had this event, right, by the way, was the reason why I am here today. I keep reminding her and she forgets. Because when I walked into that room of 2,500 people and no one seemed to be addressing me, she was the one who came up to me and said, "Oh, who are you? I love your hair." And just another woman doing that to you. And we have a picture, and there's another woman we met in the lounge, and three of us took that picture. And that was the beginning of 100 women at Davos. Now we don't even count our numbers anymore. We had over 500 women who registered for our events. But the point is that anything that we can do as women working together in order to elevate other women is so important in what it is in what we do. Many of you know who've been part of us. I see Stephanie there. Last we met at COP. We were there. We had 100 women at Davos at COP. Onga, Can Lion. So we are actually beyond Davos now, all with the intention and the purpose of advancing gender equality in leadership. We don't have any other purpose than that. And what does that mean? We do that in terms of giving women a sense of belonging, but also within that group, people are interacting and doing business with each other, and getting information that helps them in their business, in their lives, in anything, in every way. But also, what we do is alongside the community. With our name, we work with the UN Women. We are an action commitment maker for gender, for technology and gender inclusion. We work with other organizations, many women organizations. We collaborate. And those collaborations will help us make impact bigger. They're half the world's population of women and girls, 4 billion. There isn't one organization or two or 10 or 100 that is going to do it. It's the collaboration of all of us together and also with your organization. For us, as you know, one of our pillars is entrepreneurship and innovation. So we really do appreciate what you're doing. And we know with a pie chart with 2% slither that is going to VC funds. We talk about it, but I don't think we're horrified enough. How can we represent 2% of venture capital women? How is it possible? So the road is far. There are many men, by the way, you all know, and probably even most who are supporting what we're doing, but we need to engage them more because their support is a little bit, the support it saying that, yes, we agree, but we need their action, right? But sometimes we need to explain to them what that action means. How do we get them to support us? Because we are seeing the anti-DE&I movement from the United States, and we look at trends and see what is happening. And as we have more right-wing governments in Europe, for example, we may see the pendulum swinging against, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so we need to be on our guard. We need to join forces. We need to bring in the men who are supporting us. All of us have men who are supporting us to make sure that women can contribute and can benefit because it's good for organization, society, and really everything that we represent in the world and the planet as well. So I shall leave it at that. Thank you, ladies.